Hi guys, today we are going to talk about future tense, how to use will and going to. We will start with will. Now there are different ways of using will in English language. Now we're going to talk about these 4 ways of using will, these 4 ways. Now the first one is spontaneous decision, promises, scheduled public events, and predictions. Now let's take examples of spontaneous decisions. Now when we talk about spontaneous decisions, we are talking about that kind of decision you make instantly, without thinking twice, without taking your time. You just make it because you see something. So now let's take some examples. You go to your friend's house, or your friend comes to your house, and you say, "Oh, you look hungry. I will make sandwich for you, or I will feed you." It's a spontaneous decision because your friend looks so hungry and you just want to make your friend feel good. So the next one, if you have somebody who is doing something difficult or something not easy for that person, what do? You tell that person, that's difficult, I will help you. You make a spontaneous decision because you see someone having a difficult situation. Now, the next one. Imagine a situation where maybe an old woman is walking on the road, she's carrying something very heavy, and you say, you're a very nice person, and you try to help an old woman. What do you say? That's heavy, I will carry it. You make a spontaneous decision because you want to help her. Now, the next example. For example, your friend invites you to his house, gives you the key to his house and say, "Please have fun in my house." Then you go to your friend's house and it looks so messy. Then you call your friend and you say, "Your house looks messy, I will clean it." It's a spontaneous decision. And this is how you make examples with will using spontaneous decisions. If you want to make promises to people, you use will. Now, for example, imagine a guy who loves his girlfriend and he wants to go the next step. He wants to make her happy. What does he do? He promises her something, or he asks her to make him a promise. Now let's take this example. I am the guy, I have a very beautiful girlfriend, and I would ask her, "Will you marry me?" Now she has the right to answer me only with a promise, "I will marry you," to make me happy. But she can also say, "I will not marry you." The major thing is she uses the word will. I will marry you. It's a promise. Now, let's go to the next example. Imagine you have a younger brother or a younger sister who doesn't know anything. Mathematics, English, physics. What do? You promise your younger sister or your friend or your brother that I will help you with your homework if you give me cookies, or something like that. You promise to help somebody to make them feel happy. It's a promise. You always use a will. I will help you with your homework. The next example. When I was a very young child, I promised my mom something. Because I love my mom so much, so I promised her something. I told my mom, "When I grow up, I will buy you a car." It's a promise. I have to use the word will, because I promised my mom I will buy her a car. So just remember that when you promise people, you should always use will. Now we are going to the next one. We will talk about scheduled public events. A scheduled public event is a kind of event that is for everybody. It's general, right? And it already has planned. It has a fixed time. It's well planned. Now, for example, let's take the first example. The concert will begin at 8 o'clock. It's a concert. It's an event. It's scheduled, and you cannot change the time. So you always use will for a situation like that. Now, let's take the second example. I asked my friend, "When will the train leave?" My friend has a train ticket. There is a time on it. It's scheduled to leave at 9 p.m. He will tell me, the train will leave at 9 p.m. because it's a scheduled plan. He knows it's fixed. The next example is, the class will not start next week. Now, we have a schedule, right? My teacher or my professor tells me, guys, there will be no class next week. So now that is the schedule for next week. We don't have a class. So you use will to explain a scheduled event, like the class will not start next week, or something like the concert will begin at 8 o'clock, or when will the train leave. Now we will talk about predictions. Now, prediction is a plan or a guess for the future. It's actually a guess for the future. When you want to guess something for the future, but you are not sure of it, you just want to try your luck, you make a prediction. And when you make a prediction, you use will. Now let's take the first example. It will snow tomorrow. I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. It might rain, it might be sunny, but I want to predict it. And I say, it will snow tomorrow. I use will to make a prediction. Now, the second example, it's very interesting. It's my favorite team, Arsenal. Imagine my favorite team, Arsenal, is playing against the team I don't like, Chelsea. I always predict that Arsenal will win the game. It's a prediction. There is a chance to lose, but my prediction is always Arsenal will win the game. Now, let's take the third example. Imagine there is a fight between Mike Tyson and Floyd Mayweather. And everybody tries to guess what's going to happen. My only prediction will be Tyson will lose the fight. Tyson will lose the fight. It is my prediction, and I have to use the word will. The next one, it's a prediction that everybody likes to get, but my prediction is I will become the president soon. I will become the president soon. My prediction is to become the president, and I think I will become the president. So now the next thing we're going to talk about, going to. Going to is used in different ways. Well, we are going to talk about these three plans: planned decision, predicting an action, future intentions. Now let's talk about planned decisions. Planned decision is that kind of decision you already made sometime in the past or a while ago, and you want to talk about it right now. Now, for example, if you're very sure about something that you will do next year and you already figured it out, for example, you have to study a language in the university the next semester or the next year, you can make an example like this. I am going to study Russian language at the university next year because it's already planned, it's already decided. The next one. We are going to stay at the Hilton Hotel next week. It's already a planned decision. You are very sure about it. You already bought your ticket. It's decided. The next one. We are going to visit the museum tomorrow. We are going to visit the museum. It means we are sure about visiting the museum and we are going there. It's a planned decision. So you always use going to for a decision that is already planned. You already have a complete plan. Now we are going to talk about predicting an action. We use predicting an action to talk about going to. Now, for example, when we talk about predicting an action, we don't mean a prediction, but you predict an action that is about to happen. Now, the difference between a prediction and predicting an action is that with prediction, we guess the future. We are not sure about the future. Predicting an action, we have a proof, we have an evidence that something is going to happen. So we use going to. For example, imagine there is a guy with a gun and he looks very angry. And what do you think he's gonna do? He wants to kill somebody. So you tell your friend, take out your camera phone and take a picture. Look out, that guy is going to kill somebody. You understand that? Now, the next one. You're walking on the street with your girlfriend, or you want to take a walk with your girlfriend, and suddenly the clouds changes. And you tell your girlfriend, look at those clouds. It's going to rain. You have a proof. You have an evidence. Your evidence is that the cloud is different, and it looks like it's going to rain. Now, the next one. You are driving with your friend who might be drunk or not, and is about to hit somebody. You have a proof that if your friend is not careful, is going to hit somebody. You tell him, watch out, you are going to hit that car or the car. So, I hope you understand that. Now, the next thing we're going to talk about is the future intentions. Future intention is what you have planned for the future. For example, as a child, I always had an intention of becoming a policeman. So to tell somebody my future intentions, I would say, I am going to be a policeman when I grow up. It's my future intention. Now, let's look at a more interesting example. I am going to work as a doctor when I graduate from the university. That is a future intention because right now I am studying as a doctor, and as soon as I finish from the university, I will work as a doctor. Future intentions. So, in the next part, we are going to talk about the differences between going to and will. Now, to round up to this lesson, we're going to take a short summary about what we already learned. Now, when we want to use going to, we are talking always about a planned decision, or predicting an action, or future intentions. And when we want to talk about will, we always talk about it when we use a spontaneous decision, a prediction, a promise, or we are talking about a scheduled public event. I'm done.